Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2020 Career Mode episode 163. We're on the verge of wrapping up this season. It's been a big season for us, but of course we've got some big changes coming for next season. Well, anyway, we're at the World Championships. It's the individual time trial, and we've got Martin Hartgill going first. He's the one who his team did not manage his fitness, or more importantly, the AI did not manage his fitness. He's got fatigue and is actually kind of lucky to only have a -2. He's 11th at the first checkpoint, 58 seconds. I'm really trying to find the balance for our two better riders in Breck and Barry. Garrison, so Hartgill, I started at a 74, backed off to a 73, seeing that he was not conserving energy, and actually even with the 73, it's really just neutral. So as we approach this climb between the second and third checkpoint, and then yes, there's a descent after, but I think the climb's going to hurt a bit more. I think you need to have a little more in the tank. You can see Garrison, it's just barely on that conserve side, and that's what I'm aiming for. I want to have a little bit of extra energy for the climb. That's just a teaser. That was not the climb. We come around the corner, and now Hartgill, this is the climb. You can see he's just neutral right now, and I don't think this is going to work out in our favor. He should still have some energy left at the top, I would suspect. I don't think he's going to burn everything that he's got, but he's going to have very little for the descent and finish, and I don't think you can just cruise in. But again, meanwhile, Garrison is conserving a little bit, and that's kind of what we needed. So we'll see how this works out for Hartgill approaching the top, and like I said, you can still see there's some energy. So we might not be too bad off. He's in 6th place at the top, but of course, the timing-wise, we're looking at he's a good climber, 79 base. Dang, that's one reason why I brought these 4 guys. Oh, Breck is getting ready to kick off. I think that 73 is going to work. Bad timing here. I want to be with Hartgill. Breck on a -1. No reason for that. Garrison's on the fitness peak. Okay, this has worked out, so it is back to neutral here along the descent. I did not think they'd kind of get right back to where they were, but they have. He is right in the place he was before the climb. So the descent did negate the climb completely. I thought it would be a little bit less then, but as he approaches the finish, he'll attack the final kilometers. Currently 6th place, 228 down at that point. We can definitely speed up then for Garrison, and that means we can also push 74 just about throughout for everybody else who's going at it. So Garrison attacking the climb, not a great climber though, so he would have been better off on the flat attacking. This is going to hurt Garrison's time a little bit, but at the same time, pushing on the climb when you're not a great climber is a good way to make up some time. You're just not going to make it up as effectively at this level. Okay, let's back off down to that 74 here, and there is the top for Garrison. 82 on that time trial rating. That has him 3rd right now at a minute 43 down. You can see he still lost time through here. He lost nearly a minute. But I think it would have been a lot worse had we not had that little extra effort in there, that little extra push. Breck, meanwhile, he's pretty neutral on his energy consumption. 1K to go for Garrison, and coming up on the line, I think we've done it just about right. Yeah, just had just a tiny bit of energy left. Minute 55 down overall, just 3rd place, only a few seconds behind Charles Ruers. But it's Pavel Rodriguez, who might be the world champion. I'd be happy with that. You know what? We might be losing him. We might only have a single race left with Pavel Rodriguez in our control. But A, I want him to win World Rider of the Year, and B, I'd love to see him have the rainbow bands. That would be fantastic. And right now, he's got it by a comfortable margin. Arslan Sergienko just went 2nd fastest. Lotz just went 3rd fastest, so Garrison's already down to 5th place. But again, that's my 2 weaker riders, and we've got somebody all the way up in 5th. So Joseph Barry is obviously a favorite, and Breck not great resistance, but Breck absolutely should be putting in a pretty solid time. 81 mountain, 76 time trial. Solid time, not actually competitive. Okay, Barry, kick it off, +3. Nice. Okay, so that's 85, 86 time trial. Not great on the mountains, though. But with a 71, he's okay. And resistance at 85, should be able to put in a pretty solid time. It's going to be difficult to get the win without the climbing. Rodriguez has both, and that's why he is a minute ahead. Denny Ginn goes third fastest, so two of our guys, or former guys, or soon-to-be former guys, depending on how you want to look at that one, on the podium right now. Breck not going to have enough to finish this off, I don't think. The 74 the entire way with low resistance is hurting, and there goes the heart rate. Just as he puts the pedal down for the final Ks, and so he does not gain anything there. He stays 11th quickest. Garrison is now down to 9th. Okay, it's all up to Joseph Berry. He is 4th quickest at the first time check. Now 5th quickest. He's number 11, so there was only one rider behind him. Freeze, Knopf, Delhot, Garzin. I don't know which one of those guys is behind him. I guess we can check. Is it Freeze? No, it's Delhot. Okay, so Barry, next to last rider on the road, 5th at 16 seconds down at that first time check. From here, Thor Knopf is the top time at the moment that we've got to compete against. Casper Asgreen, Campenarts, and then Rodriguez all the way down in 5th. Is he still in the lead? He is. Asgreen has gone 2nd quick. Ginn's down to 5th. We are out of the top, no, not quite out of the top 10 yet, as Garrison now gets squeezed out, so no top 10 for the American squad at the moment, but Joseph Berry obviously is a great time trialist and should be in a strong position right now. 3rd place, 22 seconds down. Does he hold on to that as DeHalt goes through? No, we slip one spot, so 4th place, so we've moved up one spot. We only lost a handful of seconds through there. But Freeze is definitely putting in a solid time, and Thor Knopf. Those two have a bit of an advantage at that second time check. And Rodriguez was all the way down in 9th at that point. But then at the 3rd, after the climb, Rodriguez gains just a ton of time through there. And you can see currently sits 1st at that 3rd check. Knopf is 2nd at the finish, so Rodriguez still in the lead. And how is Barry doing? 4th place, 29 seconds down. He just does not have much energy to finish this thing off. So we need to really, really ease off through here and just try to have enough to finish those final 500-600 meters off. And should still have a really good time on those final few hundred meters as long as we still have the energy. And we've just about recovered that here. 1K to go. Barry, 4th place at that point, 30 seconds down, and 5th, 46 seconds behind at the finish. One rider left to go. Will he hang on to a top 5? He does. He overcomes DeHalt, who takes 8th place, but it is Pavel Rodriguez. Rainbow bands. Freeze, 2nd, Knopf 3rd, Asgreen, and then Joseph Berry, so we get Berry up into 5th place. Denny Ginn drops out of the top 10 entirely, obviously, as does Ian Garrison. Ginn dropped to 11th, exactly 1 minute behind his former teammate. Garrison all the way down to 18th. But we do get a top 5 with Joseph Berry, so that's good, especially considering he's not a climber. Asgreen's combination, Freeze is okay. Mountain rating certainly helped. But Pavel Rodriguez, that combination, that 83 mountain and the 80 time trial and the 78 resistance, enough to claim rainbow bands. Yeah, we'll take it. He's got 2 Grand Tour wins, a podium, and a world individual time trial victory to his name this year. And he won Rider of the Season last year, only winning the Tour de France. I think he's probably the favorite for this year. Before we jump over into the road race, Israel Startup is where Michel Gazzoli is heading, and Frisky is where Eddie Moreau is heading. Also, we're still hanging around the bubble. I don't know if somebody dropped in ability level among one of our competitors, or if one of our guys leveled up, I haven't seen yet, but we are now one spot above the bubble. We're still at 77 points, but we sit 18th overall. Wykankis and Vermark are both at 78 still. I don't know about our other man, where he's sitting. Oh, sorry, Wykankis is gone. Vermark is still 78. Rajkovic is still 77. Those are two of our three that are counting. I couldn't tell you which one for sure, but I think either McKinney or Pereira have actually been the ones to level up. Hillary Breck is also a 77 now. So look at our top five. We've got 5 riders at a 77 or better all of a sudden. And Rajkovic isn't even one of our 3 riders that we are counting for our index. So I'm guessing it's Pereira who has jumped from a 75 or 76 and is now a 77 overall and is a 10th or 2/10ths better than Rajkovic. And then, of course, that bumps the overall team average by maybe a 10th, and that puts us up one spot. Wykankis is still waiting. I would love to have 30,000 to commit to him because I love Wykankis, and I'm going to be very sad to lose him. But you can already see the kind of money that's starting to get out there. Millar, a likable member of the team, but at 12,000, you can see he's making that little bit extra, little threatening to the squad. Rajkovic and Amanatoglu, the only ones with the expiring contracts for next season, but that's very little money coming off the board. So next season is going to be a tricky one in terms of signability. It's going to come down to whatever kind of increase we're able to see from the sponsor being almost exclusively what we have to spend. It's World Championship road race, and it's going to be disappointing. Not the entire thing, but it's very disappointing that we have a really small Peloton. There should be, 200 plus riders here? We've got 122. The reason why is the game saw fit to schedule it amidst a bunch of races, and so our selection of 10 riders that we were supposed to pick 8 from, we only had 5 choices. And we're clearly not the only nation that is at a serious disadvantage in terms of numbers. So most of our key guys aren't even present. Gilkinson protects Simmons, who's quite punchy and can climb relatively well. Griffith. Cook's still coming up through the field. Looks like Dana's the other one. Oh, yeah. So do we want either Cook or Griffith? Gosh, they're both garbage today with the resistance. Yeah, this is not going to be pretty. Let's go ahead and speed things up. The big climbs are still coming. I'm going to use a little time lapse to get to the good stuff. All right, so we now have 120 kilometers left to go. We've hit the repetitive climb that we're doing 8 times in all. We've already hit it the first 3 times, and then there's 1 climb sandwiched either side of it. So that's 4 out of 10 climbs behind us, 6 to go. So nearing the halfway point on that, and quite a bit of fatigue already setting in for a number of riders. The breakaway had 4. They had about 4.5 minutes. Now it's down to 250. They're also down to 3 riders. They've got a decent advantage, but there's no way they're going to hold out there, especially with how hard this chase has been so far. It looks like France leading the way in that chase at the moment, committing riders. And yeah, you can see we're blinking red on 78. Now it's not causing us to drop back too hard too fast, but it's a long enough, steep enough climb. It's not that bad of a climb It's definitely steeper on the descent than it is on the ascent, but it's certainly doing the damage that it needs to impact the field. And Simmons is hanging in there, Dana's hanging in there, but it looks like they might be riding solo well before the finish, and we're seeing a big acceleration right now. Here's where the moves begin.
Things are heating up in front.
Counter-attack by
It's
David
Umberto
Godin.
Zeta. Zeta making the move, and now we've got quite a few riders going clear, going for it, but from this far out, that's breakaway. That's not the push for the win itself. Of course, that's what they have in mind, but it's much too early for that to just be successful unless there's no impetus in the chase group. There's still 95 riders here. There's still riders to try to bring that back. But it has opened to 3 minutes already, so there are some riders, a handful anyway, that have gone well clear. We need to go ahead and get water here. Griffith, 80k to go. This will be the next to last time that we do that. Fortunately, he didn't have to go all the way back. There was a split there for just a moment, and he barely had to drift back to get that water. There we go, 73k. We still have 3 more times on the base climb, plus 1 more additional steep short ascent there. And with the team the way it is today, we're just not well poised to do much. So let's hope that thing gets brought back. Simmons could absolutely do something if he's still in it there late, but he's not that great of a climber. And you can see we're already starting to bring back quite a few of these guys who tried to go clear, and that's what I was talking about. It only took 25k to bring them back. It only took 1 circuit, 1 climb. Field is splitting at the moment. Oh, that is a big split. Those Gilkinson and Cook are way out the back. That's now Griffith on the task of protecting Simmons. 41 left in the group. Just 3 riders left off the front, and that's a very small gap for them. I'm assuming Zeta is probably one of those 3. Talipov. Ooh, hello. Zeta's been brought back, but it's Talipov who has gone clear. And we see another attack here on the flat. Wykankis also going for it. Very different role for them than what they get for the team, because I tend to stay in the group and attack as a team effort, not as individuals going clear and trying to get that solo breakaway, as that just does not work out terribly often and forces you into managing your squad in a very different manner. For a moment, Peloton had grown quite a bit, but you can see it's definitely coming down now, and we're seeing these guys pushing pretty hard. So into the 80s. That is now front group off, but it's 34 chasing 3, and they're being brought back. There you go. Now it's 33 chasing 1 or 2.
Acceleration by David Godin.
2 climbs left to go after this, and Simmons and Dana both struggling to hang on. This group is getting really small, though, so almost impressed that we still have somebody left with only 18 contenders left in the race. We've got 2 of them. Now 17 contenders left. The 2 that are off the front are Gaudu and Arnsman. 40 seconds, very small gap. 37 seconds, they're definitely being chased back hard. So those 2 are not going to claim the win. But how much are we going to be able to do in the 2 climbs to come? You can see we're struggling at the back. Most of the 15 are contributing and working, and probably stronger than what we have. I have a feeling we might both get dropped on this climb. We're going to gel up for Dana right now. Penultimate climb. Last lap on this circuit. And here comes the big push. 2 teammates, 2 Belgian teammates going clear. Zeta, Benut, Sosa. We might be riding for not podium in the moment. Oh gosh, look at the gap. There's no proper chase. Okay, let's make a proper chase. That's a winning move. Those 3 going off the front. Dana's a climber. It's Simmons who's the one we would want attacking. Here comes the next round. Mataway, Ironsman coming back at Zeta, Sosa, Tish Benut going clear, Freeze now going for it, and Dana's done, so Simmons is going to have to ride himself. However, Simmons just does not have the kind of energy for that, so Dana has to kind of lead it out and then set up Simmons for whatever to come.
Section. The riders can take a breather, but they can't let their guard drop. The riders are entering the last 15 kilometers of the stage.
Still have a chance at a top 10, but that's going to be about it from here. 13K to go. Group of 9 chasing about 6 riders ahead. And there goes the entire group. Simmons was supposed to be attacking this group, and instead...
The riders are in a portion above 10%.
10K to go. This is crazy steep here. Simmons is a punchy guy. Can you... How long can you hold this and just try to punch your way beyond this group?
The riders are entering
Because we are now sitting third wheel, second wheel. But now we don't have the energy. It's 11 chasing 1. There's Tish Benut. We are literally sitting second wheel here, but we just don't have any energy remaining. Can we use that 83 hill rating to at least stay in this group and have a chance? And if we're lucky, some of these guys slip off the back. And not us. We're not going to have anything left for the attack at the end. Sprint-wise, we have acceleration, but only a moderate sprint. We are down into a top 10 position, though. It's down to 9 riders as we go over the top. Okay, no reason to attack this thing. We need to try to conserve some energy for that last little push to see if we can get a top 5 or maybe a podium. Tish Benut's going to win. Rainbow Band's going to Benut. We've got Gaudu, Aronsman, Sosa, Zeta, Costa, Cardoso, Lopez Estevez, and what is that, Paixão? Portuguese? And it sounds Chinese. 5K to go. Gel's already long since been used. Okay, we got to scoot forward here.
Of a rider coming off his bike. But apparently, he's back in the saddle.
3K. 3K, scooting forward for Simmons. 2K. Now in the ideal position. 1.6K. 1.3K. Under 1K. Tish Benut takes the win. We start from the front wheel. Can we hold it to the line for second? Yes, we can. Quinn Simmons, second place overall. Aronsman third. Sosa and Zeta rounds out the top 5.
The riders bringing up their rear have
Dana.
made it through sheer willpower.
Dana starting from the back, unfortunately, and also starting a little early on the sprint. He's not a sprinter either, 65-66, but looks like we will squeeze him into the top 15. 14th overall for Dana. This is it, folks. This is going to be the final participation race, for me anyway, with Pavel Rodriguez and Michelle Gazzoli and Eddie Moreau and Vulcan Wykankis. All of those riders are leaving us at the end of this season. So, bittersweet moment. Let's see if we can get a result. It's the final of the 5 monuments. It's Il Lombardia. The 2 big climbs of the day, which is really one big mountain, but you go halfway up and take a little break before you do the second half. And then 2 final short punchy ones just before the finish. I tend to do fairly well here, but we don't always get a result. And also, I want to say that it's been 2 or 3 years since we have gotten a result here. Vermark has definitely won this. We've had strong results here in the past. At the moment, you can see we're already struggling to keep kind of pace with how things are going, but we've conserved some energy for sure. Wykankis is definitely a bit too far back. Telepov is the one who's set to protect him right now. He's on the opposite side of the road there. Gazzoli, the one clear domestique on the day, and he's obviously here as the Italian representative to the Italian race. Makes him happy, and actually he's quite thrilled, and as a result ended up with a positive race day condition because of the high motivation. Well, +1, not making that big of a difference for him, but you know. we cut a year off the guy's contract. We had to do something for him, right? Millar hanging in there just fine right near the front. Even Rodriguez has drifted back slightly, getting caught behind some riders, but we're starting to see a little bit of a push here. 9 riders in the break, barely ahead of us at the moment. So that's definitely coming back. Gazzoli's still surviving, though he's just about done. Long since should have used his gel. He's going to fade now well before. Okay, first bit of the climb now for Mark. Needs to go make up some ground. Wykankis needs to make up some ground, but we already increased his effort. We need to increase it, I think, a little bit more to make up some additional ground. Okay, little false climb here. And then we'll have that little downhill section before we continue on to the next sector. Wykankis and Vermark both struggling here. A lot more than expected. And at the moment, they have been split off. Rodriguez and Millar, the ones who made that front group of just 31, now 32 riders as they brought in the last of the actual breakaway. Good chance this is all still coming back together, but these guys are... Oh, come on. No, game. I hate when you do that. Where it just suddenly rolls itself down to almost nothing, and you're trying to increase, not see a sudden 15-point decrease in effort. It's not a good way to go. Short and steep for this one, 5 kilometers, but it is a tough climb, 12%. Can we get through it? Energy is absolutely waning on this one. This is way harder than what it normally is. There's been so many years where this climb is just casual, and you end up with a whole bunch of riders left. Millar and Rodriguez themselves are both really struggling as Evenepoel is just pushing and going for it, and we find ourselves in a very small split of 4 riders off the front with about a 40-second advantage, but it's 43K to go, so I'm not going to push. Vermark is in a close chase group, though, so if just these few groups come together, that could be a good thing. Oh, come on, game. It just did it again. I'm trying to increase his effort to make sure he doesn't slip off the back, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, we want to roll at a 70. Talipov, Gazzoli, the ones who do end up getting dropped. Talipov, mostly because he was riding protection duty, and Gazzoli because he just can't climb. Okay, so we've got 18 in this group as we hit the base. And that's 30K to go. There's Vermark's group, and they're probably going to link up with Vermark's group here quite soon. And now the 7 that we're chasing just made contact here. So this is 11 riders, 12 riders chasing just 4. How did we end up with 4 riders off the front? Rubio, Evenepoel, Benut, Hershey. Not sure where those 3 guys came up to join him as we get another attack off of this group. But we are absolutely in conserve mode, expecting that at least these 16 are going to come together. Vermark's group is nearly in contact with this larger chase group. This is kind of the new Peloton here. And you can see how close they are to Rodriguez's group. So I think these few groups are going to make it together before the climb. And meanwhile, I'm just recovering some energy. Vermark's looking really good right now. Wykankis is looking pretty good. Moreau, of course, is protecting him. So there you go. These groups are together, and we're on the base of this one. So why don't I take these 3 and start to make a move? We want Vermark, we want Wykankis, and we want Moreau. And Moreau is right there. Moreau gel up. Millar needs to protect Rodriguez, and Rodriguez needs to up that effort. And then we'll get back here. This group, 25, make it a group. There's 4 and 12 ahead of us, so plus 4 ahead of that, I think. So we've got about 18 riders beyond where this group is, but you can see a move right here can put us right back into the mix with these 3 riders. And if not, you've got Rodriguez to make things happen. We just bridged the gap to one of the groups, and there's Millar and Rodriguez, who somehow have been split off, but hey, look at this. We have a team of 5 suddenly. And how does Millar look? Pretty dang strong. I think we want them just going right into the back of this. They were the leaders for the reason. They were at the front for the reason. Okay, and now we continue on.
The
There's only
riders are
2
entering
riders
the
ahead of
last
us.
15 kilometers of the stage.
Moreau, his work is done. On to Wykinkis. So this is good. It's coming back together. Oh, there's more than just a couple riders ahead of us. There is still a couple lead groups who have a significant advantage, unfortunately. Okay, Wykinkis out of red bar, but he's got plenty of yellow. Keep your push going. And that gap is coming down, and we are splitting riders off. But we'll have 3 contenders left for the next one. Vermark should be the one we're riding for now because he's going to be the speedy guy. Is he? 67. No, Rodriguez
There are just
is.
10 kilometers left.
So, no, we're going to keep this same order here. We split off all but 6 riders of this group, and we're within 30 seconds of this next 2, but I'm not sure we're going to catch those front couple individuals. Okay, Vermark gel and Millar gel. We're going to save Rodriguez. Okay, on to Vermark, making his push. Wykinkis got us through the top of the penultimate climb and across the valley below. Of course, the descent as well. Rodriguez still looking pretty good. Millar's not going to last too long, but we're coming back at
There
Rubio.
are just 5 kilometers left.
Okay, on to Millar. Rodriguez is going to have to attack here. And it looks like Freeze is also trying to attack. That's over the top already. Hold on. I want you to just follow Freeze. Save your attack. Okay, we now have a lead out again. I want you to get behind Vermark. Who's going to get behind Millar? Who's going to push?
And the final sprint is off. Who's going to be the first to the line
2K
today?
to go. We've missed out on the front. How is Freeze pulling away from this?
Fantastic. He
Hershey
really was
takes the win ahead of
strongest in the leading
Tish and then Evenepoel grabs 3rd. That group hangs. Oh gosh, 400 meters already. Little late on my move here with Rodriguez. I thought we still had about a kilometer to go. Didn't.
We're waiting for the back markers.
Okay,
who appear to be
well,
fairly
those were
numerous in
4
this
who
difficult race.
escaped from Rodriguez. They did that little attack move, end up staying clear. That's why I don't like managing 2 groups at once. You miss things like that. Pogacar 5th, Freeze 6th, Vermark and Rodriguez 7th and 8th. We get a top 10. Millar gets 11th. That's a little bit of a good recovery ride, technically, but far from ideal. Rodriguez could have probably gotten 5th. He had the energy to definitely sprint 200 to 300 meters earlier and should have done more with that. But that really makes very little difference in the overall grand scheme of things. Hershey took the win, and we were nowhere near those front 4. We've hit the end of the season. Let's get some end-of-the-year recaps. De Halt, biggest name moving from Caja Rural to Israel Cycling Academy. Rodriguez is the next biggest, moving to C-Clerc. That's formerly known as AG2R. Safonov, Lopez all on the move. Tantoni moving to Radio Popular. Germán on the move to Malinois. A few highlights of the year. Rodriguez taking the under-25s at all 3 Grand Tours. And then winning La Vuelta, winning the Tour de France, and taking 3rd at the Giro d'Italia. McNulty winning that one. He took 2nd at La Vuelta, so we did get our revenge on him. We have 0 wins at the major tours this year, but Rodriguez does grab the time trial at the World Championships. And for the monuments, just one for us. It was a total sweep at Milano San Remo. Reykjavik ahead of Vermark and Wykinkis. Final standings, Rodriguez on top by nearly 2,000 points ahead of McNulty, who of course had 1 tour win and then a 2nd place. So he didn't do quite as much as Rodriguez did, but he only had 2 appearances. Pogacar 3rd overall, Alaphilippe, Carapaz rounding out the top 5. Vermark was 18th. Continental rankings, Mads Pedersen on top for Turbo, just under 1,000 points. Super Prestige, comfortable victory for Rodriguez, 1,500 points ahead of McNulty. Pogacar, again, third. Alaphilippe and Chomius in the top 5. Our next highest ranking was Reykjavik at 25 and Vermark at 28. In terms of victories this season, it was Caleb Ewan taking the record of 19 wins. Rodriguez, though, as a Grand Tour rider with 15, phenomenal year there. Reykjavik with 10, which was good enough for 5th overall. As a team, World Tour rankings, we do end up hanging on by 1,000 points over UAE, which was both McNulty and Pogacar's team. Split SE in the Continental rankings, and we do win the Super Prestige by a pretty close margin, just 40 points ahead of UAE. Tight contest in the end, and in terms of victories, one shy of Ducati Quickstep. UAE also at 35, so really tight battle for the top 3 teams in terms of victories. It was a good year. It was a competitive year. It ended up fairly close in the end between us and UAE. Next year is going to be a very different year, though. I don't think we're going to be able to replicate the kind of points we were able to grab this season. That is going to do it for this one, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.